So you're a real estate agent, you've been working so incredibly hard, and you finally have your first potential client that wants to actually shop for homes and write offers. Well, what do? You've been spending so much time with practicing for your real estate license test and studying all the materials, and now you're lead generating and you're learning contracts, but you finally have somebody that's ready to go and they want to start looking for homes. What's the first thing you do? Well, today's video is going to cover all the basics of working with a buyer that wants to write offers on homes so that way you can finally get paid as a real estate agent. So what's the first thing I would do if somebody shows an interest in purchasing a home? Well, the first things first is I would actually want to set an appointment with them. At this appointment, you could call it a buyer's appointment. Just like you have listing appointments, you can have buyer's appointments. Go and meet with them and find out everything they're looking for and determine if it's going to be a good fit for you to help them out. Now, as a new real estate agent, there's very few opportunities that you should turn down. But for example, on this appointment, if they say, you know what, we're looking 6 hours away from here, well, maybe it's not feasible for you to drive 6 hours to show them properties every single weekend, and you might want to refer that opportunity out. But let's say everything aligns, it's in my area, I want to work with them. Well, what should we do now? Once I learned how many bedrooms they want, how many bathrooms they want, what's the square footage, what should we do? Well, the first thing I always have buyers do is get pre-approved. I rarely ever want to go show properties if those clients or potential clients are not even approved for a home. I've seen time and time again that people are really interested in these price point of homes and they actually talk to a mortgage lender and then their price point goes way down here. Maybe they don't even want to buy a home anymore. So make sure they get pre-approved. Make sure they're actually qualified, because when they talk to a mortgage lender and they get that official pre-approval, you're making sure that it's actually worth your time to invest in these people, to go drive, to go show them homes, to spend your gas, to spend your weekends, to go through open houses with them, to do all this work. Why not ahead of time? Let's make sure they're actually qualified to buy this type of home that they're looking for. Now, if they are qualified, the next thing I want to determine is, do I want them to sign me exclusively as their real estate agent? This could also be known as an exclusive buyer representation agreement. Or do I not want to start with paperwork? I've seen agents operate their business both ways. Sometimes at that buyer's representation or buyer's appointment, you're hitting it off with them, maybe even they're your best friends. And you're like, you know what? They're gonna be comfortable signing this buyer's rep agreement. Let's go ahead and push that out to them and have them sign. Now, what's the downfalls of this or what's the advantage of this? Well, when a consumer signs this exclusive buyer representation agreement, it is basically protecting you as a real estate agent. We are clearly defining what this relationship is. We're determining roles within that agreement. Usually there's fiduciary duties listed out, and there's usually some sort of mention of a commission or compensation. And this agreement would also say that they agree to use you instead of any other agent out there. You're their one and only agent. No matter what home they buy, you're going to get paid. That really helps protect you as an agent. Now, I've seen a lot of agents, and I've even done this in the past, is they help consumers without a buyer's representation agreement. Maybe it's because we're not really comfortable yet. Maybe it's the first time. They're an internet lead. They called, they're hot, they want to go see this house. Maybe I just go show them the first one and say, hey, first one's on me, but next one, let's define what this is and create a buyer's rep agreement. Because the risk of not having a buyer's rep agreement is that these people, and it's happened to me before, is maybe they go to an open house and they talk to the listing agent and they submit an offer through that listing agent. Well, if you didn't have a buyer's rep agreement, it might get really hard to get paid. Or that consumer goes to a new build community, they never mention you or say, hey, I have a buyer's rep in place, you might not get paid. So at least an exclusive buyer representation agreement protects you as a real estate agent and protects your time. So I really like them. You don't have to have them, but that's the risk of not having one, is you might not get paid. Now, we've met with that buyer. We've gone over their needs. They're pre-approved. And we have or have not done a buyer's representation agreement. Now what? Well, now is when we start looking for homes to help them out. They might have their own list of homes that they'd want to go see already, or they need our help in order to find these homes. So I always recommend your first bet is to go to the MLS. So for Middle Tennessee, that's RealTrax. In Georgia, that could be FMLS or Georgia MLS. In Memphis, it could be Paragon. There's all these different MLS systems out there. But that's where most of the listings are going to be found, is on your MLS. Now you can go there, you can see what the homes are listed for, you can see the property history. Occasionally though, if it gets really hard to find exactly what they're looking for, even up front you can do this, but you could go to sites like Zillow, and when you search for homes, click the Other Listings tab. That has for sale by owners. So these type of listings, when owners list their properties themselves, are not going to appear on the MLS. So this is another resource to look for homes that could meet the criteria for your client. Now, when we start searching for homes, we want to send that list to the buyer. We want them to review those homes and pick out their favorite homes, and we're going to start scheduling showings. Now, one caveat, every MLS system has their rules, and most of them follow this rule. But when you are sending homes to your clients, make sure to let them know that by rule, a listing agent has up to 48 hours to change a home from active to pending if they've accepted an offer. So why I bring that up is because there's been times where a consumer sees a home listed and they love it, they fall in love, and that's the one and only home for them. Well, that house could have already accepted an offer because they have up to 48 hours after they've accepted the offer to change their status to under contract or pending. So that's one thing I really like to do as a buyer's agent, is if they have this list of homes that they want to start seeing and setting up showings, I want to call each listing agent and make sure it's still active. Make sure it's still available. Do you have any offers in hand, or is there anything that you expect coming in? That way you can best relay that information to your client, and they might determine based on that information they actually don't want to go see that home. And you just saved yourself a lot of time. Now, we want to start scheduling showings. That's the next stage. So we've met with them. They're our client. We started searching for homes. They found homes they're interested in. We want to schedule showings. Now, most of the time, these are going to happen on evenings or weekends because your clients oftentimes have their 9-to-5 job. So be prepared to work weekends as a real estate agent. Now, what I like to do when I'm scheduling showings is we have a whole video on exactly how to schedule showings and the different tips and tricks. But what I like to do is, let's say me and my client both live in Nashville. Well, when I start the showings, what I really like to do is, if me and my client are both in a similar location of where we live currently, I like to schedule the farthest homes away from us first. That way, as we go throughout the day, because we could see 4 or 5 homes in a day, driving all over, we get really exhausted. I'd rather end the day closest to where we both live than farthest away. Could you imagine if you start in Nashville, seeing a bunch of homes, and you slowly make your way to Franklin, and then you're done for the day, but now you have to drive 45 minutes back home? I'd rather do it reverse. Let's drive the farthest first, meet at that home, and each showing, we're kind of working our way a little bit back closer to our house. So when you schedule showings as well, on top of scheduling the farthest one away first, working back, confirming that it's available, make sure you're only showing up to homes when your showing has been approved. If your showing has not been approved by the listing agent, do not show up to the house. That could be even trespassing. You're not supposed to be there. It's not your house. Don't just show up to a house because it's on the market. Make sure you have a confirmed appointment. When your appointment is confirmed, the last caveat to this is make sure you understand how to enter the home. Some sort of showing instructions. Is it a combo lockbox? Is it on Supra? Is it on Sentry lockbox? If you don't know what those are, you need to start researching really fast so that way you know how to enter every single home. So write out the times you're going to see each home, make sure they're approved, start with the furthest one away, and write down how you're going to actually access those homes. Now, the day of showings, when you go out, what I like to do is email an itinerary to my clients. Hey, we're going to start at this home. Our showing window is from 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. I left us 10 minutes of buffer driving space. Next property starts at 9:45 to 10:15. Write out this itinerary. That way your clients understand there is time limits. We can't just go to a property and be there for 2 hours. We actually had this slot approved by the owners. Maybe they have family coming in from out of town. There's all these different things. Maybe the owners are down the street just sitting in their car to allow you guys to enter the property. So be very courteous when you're through the homes, showing the properties. Just realize it's not your house, it's somebody else's. So when we're there, a lot of times we're putting them out of that home. So let's get them back in the home as soon as we can. When you're seeing properties, just be courteous. If you turn on lights when you enter, make sure you turn off the lights. If you open doors or cabinets, make sure they're all closed when you're leaving the home. Again, it's not our home. Just be courteous. Leave the property in a better condition than when you first entered. Don't be tracking mud all through the house. Just be courteous. Now, after we've seen a bunch of homes, the client really likes this one particular home in general, they are ready to write an offer. Now is when you, as a real estate agent, you can use the forms that your brokerage tells you to use. Most of the time, it's going to be the state realtor forms. So for us, it's the Tennessee Association of Realtors, or the TAR forms. Georgia, a lot of times they use the Georgia Association of Realtor forms, or the GAR forms. So make sure you get with your broker to know which forms you need to be writing offers on. Make sure you understand how to write the offers properly to protect you and the client. You submit offers. When the seller reviews them, they accept it. Now you're under contract. You work through the contract period, inspections, appraisals, and then you have your closing. So that's kind of an overview, a 10,000 foot overview of what you can be doing with your first client when they say, hey, I'm ready to start looking at homes. Now you at least know kind of the general framework of what you can be doing as a real estate agent and expectations coming up. So if you have any questions, comment down below or book a time to speak with me privately. I'd love to help you get your real estate business to the next level. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.